What is real? How do you define real?
Like everyone else, you were born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
The Fashion Matrix Podcast with Pablo Mentor.
Wake up and be free.
Welcome everyone to another episode here for the Fashion Matrix Podcast. This is Pablo Mentor, your host. And as many of you know, or you might not know, is that not only am I an image consultant, but also I've had many experiences that led me to become more spiritual ever since I was a child. Now, this is not to show like my credentials or anything like that, but there are certain things that are happening in the world and have been happening for a long time, like shit, way before I was born. However, I think these topics now are getting more mainstream, kinda, and are more in the awareness of the collective of everyone in the world. It's not as crazy as it if you talked about this like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Many people will be like, man, you fucking crazy, you're on drugs or some shit like that. But now, because it was written and it is needed to happen, and everything that is happening was predicted, right, by ancestors, by either here in the ancient America, that you guys, if you've heard my podcast before, I don't like to refer as this continent as America. I refer it as Tahuantinsuyo and Anahuac, which is the rightful name. But not only here, but everywhere. If you look at the ancient wisdom and our forefathers, you will see all of this. They spoke about these times. And it only makes sense. Even if you don't believe in anything, if you just use your logic, history repeats itself, right? But anyway, there is a spiritual warfare happening right in front of our eyes. This spiritual warfare has been going on since the dawn of existence. However, now it's getting more intensified. It's getting more intense. And because it has always been there, but now it's more in our awareness, we see how fucked up things are. Now, I've been knowing this for a long time, but I've never spoken about it because I know how crazy it's going to sound. And maybe and probably and hopefully the majority of you listening to this already know about this. However, I just have to put it out there for the record so that you remember what is going on, right? Because we go about our days, our mundane days, and we worry about money. We worry about what others are going to think about us. Shit, even I, as an image consultant, I admit sometimes we worry about, oh, am I looking good? Am I looking bad? Is this video going to get me a lot of views? And am I going to be able to turn them into sales and close them? You know, not to say that these things are not important, but there are some of the things that are way more important because they are eternal. And the earthly things are not eternal. They go in a cycle. Even you can see it on Earth. You know, trees are not eternal. They die. They get reborn. You see it in the cycle of life. So we should be worried more about what pulls our strings, which is this primordial force, this divine consciousness that is within us and outside of us. And I'm talking about our soul, and most importantly, what connects us to that soul. Where does that soul come from, right? So this spiritual warfare, it is a warfare for our souls, literally. And that's why you see a lot of distraction, a lot of division, and a lot of just bullshit, you know. You see all these trends, this, that. I have nothing against people that want to see themselves as something, as long as it doesn't harm other people. And they are harming children, and they are harming younger generations, and this is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand, and this is all by an agenda. This is all by design. It's not because, oh, we are free, we can talk about whatever the fuck we want. In a way, yes, but also if you are really smart and you learn how to discern, that's the key word, discern. Because we live in a world where there's a lot of information, not a lot of wisdom and knowledge. Because there's a difference between wisdom and knowledge and information, right? You can... How do I put this? You can read a book about fruits and about tomatoes. You can read all about it. You can watch YouTube videos on it. You can buy a goddamn e-course, an online course talking about everything about tomatoes and fruits. And through that information, you'll get the knowledge. Oh my God, a tomato is a fruit. All right. What is wisdom though? Wisdom comes from experience and knowing when to speak, when not to speak, when to act, when not to act, when to do, when not to do. And you can only get that through experience, right? So by knowing through experience, wisdom would come with this example is, you know that a tomato is a fruit, yet when you taste it, you know it's not considered a fruit. It's more like a vegetable, even though it's not. And you would not put that fruit, the tomato, in a fruit salad or in a fruit tart. You know what I'm talking about? That's why you categorize them. Even though it's a fruit, you will not consider it as the same as a strawberry, a banana, or some or a watermelon. You catch my drift? You know what I'm talking about? So there's a difference. And I think this whole lot of information that we're getting is also by design, trying to get us confused, because anything that you search on the internet right now, you'll see something that will back it up. If it's good, if it's bad, whatever. If you search that we live in a spiritual warfare, you'll find a bunch of fucking videos, podcast episodes, and books and this and whatnot, right? If you search the opposite, the hoax about spiritual warfare, and then you'll see a bunch of scientists and proofs that will back up that idea that this is a hoax, that there's not a spiritual warfare. So that's why I'm talking about information, knowledge, and wisdom. You need to turn it into an experience of your own, which is something that my ancestors, the Toltecs, used to talk about. People of own experience. They always talked about that. Even if we had like a Christ, right? Christ is a consciousness. It's a divine consciousness. It's something that it's something that connects you with Creator, with God. So we had like a form of Christ here in ancient Anahuac, ancient America, through say Acatl Topiltzin and other women, other messengers, other ascended masters. Seacatl Topiltzin Quetzalcoatl it's like the most famous and the last one that we had. And he even he that was really in touch with the Creator, with God, he would say, do not trust my words. Put them to action. Do as I tell you, and then you'll see if my words are wicked or if they are true. And then by experience, then you will follow me and you will follow what I tell you or not. It's depending on how corrupt you are, depending on how dark is your soul or not, right? So this spiritual warfare is out there, man, and they're trying to get you. They're trying to get your soul, man. They're trying to get you. There are things happening under our noses right now as I'm speaking that it sounds so ludicrous. It sounds so crazy that I think by design it's also supposed to sound so crazy, which is why most people don't even believe it. It's like, nah, Pablo, get the fuck out of it. That cannot be true, man. It's like straight out of a film or a book, right? A science fiction book. Like, this cannot be happening. This God would not allow this to happen, but it is happening. It is happening. A perfect example would be the network of child trafficking. And you know this. You've seen it with Epstein's the Epstein Isle and all these things. You know, the I forget how to call them, man, but There are documentaries. There's a documentary that it's just about to get released by Mel Gibson talking about this whole network. Like there's people fighting this, but you don't see them a lot because by design, these high-tech companies, these fucking social media platforms, all these platforms, they shadow ban this sort of talk. And it's crazy because why would you not hear about these children being molested, yet you see more about you? The algorithm is pushing more women showing their tits and bouncing their asses, right? Like you see more of that rather than, hey man, there is demons, there are dark entities that are trying to sacrifice children and literally drinking blood and turning them into a sort of drug that the elite are consuming. The elite, I mean, you know what I mean, you know, Hollywood, politicians, and this is a billion dollar, I wouldn't want to say company, but movement. Billions of dollars are being paid through this network. That, for example, I'm from Mexico, right? And I know that the narcos right now, and it's been a long time now, that they really don't deal with drugs anymore. Like, yeah, they do it. But one of the main income sources for the narcos right now is snatching the children and shipping them into United Kingdom and United States, amongst other places. So a lot of children right now, because this is a third world country, and this happens in many third world countries, they get kidnapped because they are nobodies. And let me rephrase that because they are someone. They have a soul and they are important, but they don't have the money and the mediums to have their voices heard. Like if you go to a town here near to where I live, you see people that are still have nothing to eat. They're rural communities, right? So if you snatch their children, nobody would believe them because they are Indians, right? Or natives. So they go to the police and they're like, man, they're not taken seriously. Some of them that even speak Spanish, they talk Nahuatl or their roots, right? Their main language were passed on to them. So this happens on a daily basis. Thousands and millions of children are getting lost or being kidnapped to be sent off to these elite people, right? Just in Mexico. Now imagine the whole world. In the whole world, there's a lot, and this is known facts. Even in America, children are getting kidnapped. Now, there's one thing that people believe that this is pedophiles, and this is just because there's something wrong with these people that want to have sex with children. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up, and that happens. But what's behind that, and the energy that is moving these strings, is not just because of the sexual fact. Yes, sex is involved, but all of this is being done in a ritualistic way. All right? Understand that. If you know or don't know or search for this adrenochrome, this is a drug. All right? I'm not going to talk too much about it. This is just going to be like just a tip of the iceberg. Because probably you already know. If you don't know, then study this. All right? Adrenochrome is a drug that gets the elite consume this through children, through the blood of children. Man, this is so much to talk about, but in a nutshell, they torture children because it creates adrenaline, a very high adrenaline spike. And the more they torture them and the more they scare them, the more the adrenaline goes up. And then when the adrenaline is at its peak, boom, they kill them, they sacrifice them in a ritualistic, through dark entities, right? And then the blood, through a process, they transform that blood that is very high on adrenaline, they transform it into a drug that is called adrenochrome, and it's pink. You see this in movies, like through predictive programming. You hear these in songs. And predictive programming is something that happens, and there are CIA documents that back this up. Do your research. Again, people of your own experience, remember that. Because they're trying to desensitize us, desensitize humanity, so that if you see it in a movie, first of all, you already seen it, and it's like, oh, it's science fiction. Like if when and if and when it happens, first of all, you already seen it, and second of all, you're like, it's not that bad, like this is, bro, what you're talking about, you saw it from a movie. Like, you're sounding like a conspiracy theorist, and this is not a conspiracy, this is not a theory, this is happening right in front of our eyes. So children are being sacrificed for dark entities, for demonic entities. Do your research. Goddamn. Search Fossil Drip. Search adrenochrome. Search Brian Epstein. All these things, right? Search Pizzagate. All of these things, man. And this makes me very mad. Makes me very sad and very mad. Why? Because, first of all, kids and kids, babies, they are the purest, most sacred, more honest, or the ones, souls that just come down, that they just came into this earth, either through resurrection or whatever, but they're not polluted with sin yet. Because we all fuck up. We all do fucked up things. I'm trying to be a saint here. I've done some for crazy shit, but I've never done anything that involves this type of shit or fuck with dark entities. I've always known where I stand, and I always stand for light, and I always stand against them. Whatever is against them, call it God, Jesus, Quetzalcoatl, whatever. I've always stand against them, right? And this has brought me a lot of turmoil and problems, and I've fought them. I've fought them before. I think I've already made a podcast talking about how I met with a cult leader and how they had to fight a sorcerer, a dark black magic sorcerer, and crazy things were happening in my house and in my relationship and with my family, and I had to fight them, right? And I continue to fight them. Why? Because I chose to fight this, because bad only, or evil only prevails when good people know about this and decide to do nothing out of either scare or because they are desensitized and they're like, who gives a fuck? This is untrue. Or they decide not to act, and that's where evil prevails. So I've already spoken about it and how I got into spirituality. Actually, this is because, well, I've always had it, but and even my bloodline, they've been doing this for a long time. But I got into all of these things because I was being attacked by a cult leader, and this, they were doing blood pacts, this, that, and I went against them. So anyway, this is happening, guys. This is happening, and it makes me mad because who the fuck? I'm a father. On what person's head would it be okay to molest a child, or to sacrifice it, or to drink blood, or to sniff blood? Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people, man? If you're listening to this and you're a good person, you know that this sounds so fucking crazy. So that's how you know that these people are not, it's not the people doing it, it's the forces manipulating to do that. It's the demonic dark entities doing that. And this is happening, guys. So more and more we're being led to this crossroads where you will have to make a choice. You will have to make a stand. You either go with them or against them. There's not going to be like, I'm neutral. I don't do it. I'm not going to fight them, man. Like, fuck this. God will deal with them or whatever. No. You're going to have to make a stand. More and more, mark my words, more and more you're going to have to face head to head with the choice that you either stand with goodness, or you, by default, by not doing anything, you will be part of the evil, or you are part of the evil. If you're part of the evil, know this. And if you're listening to this, because I know that some people are listening, we're not alone. We know who you are. We know what you're doing, and we're fighting. And I know that you can feel it. You know that you can feel it, and you know who I'm vibing with. You know who I stand with. So truth will always come out, and you cannot hide. And I know that deep down you're trembling. You're trembling. because you don't want people to know. You don't want warriors to stand up against you. So the problem that this is a spiritual warfare is that, first of all, it sounds so crazy and most people don't believe it. Second of all, because it's a billions of dollars that are involved in this, it's so corrupt, right? They buy everything. Like politicians are involved. Powerful people are involved, right? This is why if you try to go against them through the mainstream, nope. You've seen it. People that out of the blue commit suicide and they die when they're about to share something that is going to shine a light on these idiots, on these demons. Oh, out of a sudden, boom. For example, man, there's so many fucking examples, but one that pops in my mind right now is Anthony Bourdain, the famous chef. He was about to speak against the child trafficking, and he had some information that went against Hillary Clinton, and he didn't want to commit suicide. He didn't commit suicide, and then boom. Next thing you know, and if you do your research, he either by design or something, he got involved with a witch, with a dark entity, and then he started to understand what was happening. Maybe he saw the rituals that they were doing, the elite, and then he went against it. And then when he was gonna share something, yeah, go for it, search for it, and on the Twitter, it's still there. And like the next day, the next couple of days, he was found to be dead. And they say, of course, the mainstream say, "Oh, he committed suicide." And you know the mainstream is bought. Whoever has the money to buy the story that the mainstream is gonna share, you know that's what we're gonna share. There's so many videos explaining this. Like you can just see it. It just happened with a pandemic. Now you know that the people that were vaccinated, they were not dying. We're not dying, right? And I don't know if this fucking episode is going to be heard by anyone because I'm saying all the trigger words that the algorithm is going to censor, right? And you know it. If you search for me on social media, you know that I'm being shadow banned and censored because I talk about all these things. I'm not promoting anything bad. I'm just talking about the evil people and the evil entities that are sacrificing children. God damn, guys. People, we need to wake up. You need to do some soul search and stand with God. Do some prayer, meditate, and put on your armor and go fight them. Now, if you have a position of power, then do something about it. If you have money, then do something about it. Like I'm adopting children, you know? I'm giving money, whatever little or much money I have, I'm adopting children because I know I don't want them to be kidnapped by these fucking idiots, right? So do what you can with what you have. I'm speaking out right now. I'm outspoken about it. I'm doing an episode on my podcast. I'm gonna do videos. I share these on my social media platforms. If you are on my closed group, you know I talk about this. And since I belong to a group of spiritual shamans and warriors, we do ceremonies constantly to fight them spiritually. I'm a spiritual warrior, you know? That's why I'm not like a hippie being like, oh, peace and love. Yeah, but I'm also a fucking warrior. And I'm against these demons. And I know that by prayer, by meditation, by sending out energy, by doing certain rituals, we are fighting against them. Because mark my words, if they are doing this in a ritualistic way and sacrificing children, there's the opposite. The yin and the yang. There's an opposite side. If there's a lot of evil, there's also a lot of good. And if they are doing this through ritualistic ways, we are doing the same thing, but the opposite. Through ritualistic ways, we are doing it in a good way to fight them, to have them move on and to have them go back to the void. So do your research, guys, because this is very sad, man. Like this, I'm serious about this. This is very sad and this is happening. And we all need to pray and we all need to stay grounded, connected with our spirituality, with our ancestors, and search for the light and you know, like truly connect to something that will tell you that intuition that you have. Connect with your heart and be able to discern, because there's a lot of information and a lot of it is just trying to mislead you. Sometimes even the heart can be misleading. That's why you have to be alone, meditate, pray, whatever calls into your heart. Go into the forest. I say forest because there's less distraction there, right? That's like my church. But you must have your own ways and pray for these souls, these young children. They should not be facing these, man. They should not be sexualized. They should not be facing these demons. They are pure. And understand this, because children are the ones that are more connected with God and with Creator, with divine consciousness, because they're not polluted yet. That's why the enemy is targeting them. Not only because they're purer and their blood is like higher and they get a better high of the adrenochrome rather than an adult, but it's like a fuck you to God. It's like the biggest fuck you, right? Oh, I'm going to take the most precious things that you have and I'm going to kill them and I'm going to sacrifice them and I'm going to turn them, because they don't sacrifice all of them. Some of them, they manipulate them to continue to do that, right? They make them do things. Oh my God, this is terrible, man. This is fucking terrible. So we gotta stand up, man. We gotta stand up. We gotta fight. This is a warfare, man. This is a spiritual warfare. And if you don't believe it, you'll continue to see it. You'll see it more and more and more. There's a movie out there that I recommend to you guys. Not only the documentary on Mel Gibson, but also there's a movie called Nefarious. Go watch that. Nefarious. It's being rated like 98% rated by people that have watched it. It's super good. But the critics are not talking about it. Hollywood didn't promote it. Like, no one is talking about it on the mainstream because it's speaking exactly about what I'm talking about right now. Nefarious. Search for it. Look it up. And stand strong. If you are a spiritual warrior that belongs to God and that you are really with goodness, then this is a calling, man. If you already know or knew about this, we have to continue to pray, meditate, and send out the arrows, the arrows of light, and stand strong with the army, the Rainbow Warriors, and stand strong and be like, no, this will not happen. Not on my call, not on my watch. And I'm fighting them, guys. I'm fighting them. Every day I'm fighting them. I know there's millions of cases, but I know certain cases that are close to me, and I continue to fight them, man. And I have been fighting them for a long time now, goddamn. But I know that I'm not alone. So this is a calling, guys. You have to make a choice. And all of us have this calling. All of us, there's a point in our lives where we are faced with this decision. Are you going to fight, or are you going to just stay put and be neutral, or are you going to go with them? Just because you are trying to get money, you do some ritual. I know people close to me, very close to me, that have done these blood rituals, just to get the influence on social media, to get the money. And the problem is that they get it because evil, it works like that. It's easier. Oh, sacrifice a chicken and I'll get you some money. Boom. And there you go. People going into this witchcraft and santeria and all this bullshit. Why? Because unfortunately or fortunately, it works and it's very loud. Evil and dark entities, they like fireworks. They like showing off because it's all about ego. So, oh, look at me, I'm so powerful. However, the other side, you can see it in anything that is worth fighting for and anything that is good in this world. It's not loud. It's not loud at all. Think about a tree. Think about a seed that provides food, right? A tree. It's silent in how it grows. First, it goes down to its roots and it spreads the roots. Then slowly but surely it starts to grow, and it doesn't make any sound and it doesn't make any loud noises. Good is like that. It's not like, yeah, you pray to God and you pray to Ometeotl and boom, he'll give you everything and all the miracles. No. Why? Because this is a way of cleaning out the bullshitters, the liars. If you are really good, then we're going to test you. You're going to be tested. And we're going to see if your heart is pure. Because most people say they are good, but they're not good. They're just following. They're just sheep following orders. And they don't even know who the orders come from. The enemy is very, very, very smart. very smart. That's why you have to learn how to discern information, knowledge, and wisdom. Learn the difference. And again, like I said, evil is like boom. You do something, you do the blood pact, and boom, all of a sudden you get it. But the good is the opposite. It's like, no, it is working, but it is working in an unseen way. Why? Because true spirituality is not about making things happen in the mundane, in the matrix. Spirituality is above and beyond the matrix. It's above and beyond physicality, right? The physical self. It's the unseen, but it is working, and that's why you must have faith and belief. That will move fucking mountains. But people that don't believe and truly believe, they say, "Oh God, but I prayed for you," and they're like, "No, but I didn't see it." But well, I guess he must not work, right? Then fuck all these spirituality. And then they go to a demon and, "Hey, please give me this," and then whoop, okay, there you go. And then, oh my God, this is it. Why? Because it's all ego. It's all based on selfishness, what you want. But it's not about what you want. It's about something beyond that. So I hope this message resonates with you, and I hope you are listening and wake up and do your spiritual work and put your armor and fight these demons. And if you are against us, and if you are one of the evil ones listening to this, then you know we're coming for you. We're coming for you. You know it. And I know deep down, because I know you're loud. You're fucking loud. You love being loud, and you're connected. And I know you want to stand up with a facade being like, and they're trying to be scary and be like, no, nothing is going to happen. But you know our faith, and you know who we stand with. And deep down, you are scared. So we're coming for you. This is going to end. We stand for goodness, and we stand for the children as well. I stand for the children. Like this is stupid, man. This should not be happening in this world. Like, come on. But anyway, do your research and stay elevated, stay strong, stay grounded. Till the next one.